Alright, so I want to make this video about training. So, I want to try to break down the way that I train, how the way that I train changes based off of the goal that I have at the time, and how you gotta listen to your body. So, and listen to your soul, because that's why you gotta know your goal. Because some people's goal is to just build muscle, like for the look. They want to look muscular, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that goal. It's just I got a comment recently, and it reminded me that I was supposed to make this video forever ago, but because I was gonna make a video about how there's a difference between training and bodybuilding, and most injuries, most people that work out all the time and then they get into their 40s, 50s, 60s, they have issues because of the overtraining that they did to their body. Now, but the truth is they never overtrained, they over bodybuild did. Okay, overtrained might sound better than over bodybuilded, but I guess I'm just trying to say that it's their intention was to look the best, not feel their best, wasn't to be their best for a long period of time, because you can only hold that giant muscular body for a short period of time, because eventually, once you it doesn't matter if it's 40, you hit 50, you hit 60, eventually that type of body will start to like it'll start to put harm on the joints. It'll start to put harm on just all these different things, right? Where if the bodybuilders did a little more calisthenics, then they might not have those issues as they got older. Now, I recently learned these band things, right? Like I used a lot of these band things. Like there's a many different type of workouts you can do with this. Isolated workouts and like like compound workouts where you're working out many muscles at one time. And like I have another one where like I punch with, and then I got a few broken ones that I've made different things with, and this one just so happens to be like just kind of like a circle, and you just pull it or whatever. But those tend to help more of the like joint muscles or the whatever, because I don't just pull, you could pull and hold. I'll do a lot of holds where like horse stance, for example. And horse stance is a stance where you use your legs and you kind of it's like the squatting position, but you squat to the point where your knees are and thighs are basically almost at a 90-degree angle in a sense, and like you just hold it and you hold the stance. A lot of times I'll hold my arms out as well, and I'll do arm holds with no weights. So now after doing arm holds with no weights for a year, I started adding just holding one 10-pound dumbbell with both hands and holding it out, right? Now these are things that like I also do arm holds like this where I'll just hold my arm out like this, hold my arms out like this. I had this one dude say something, so I started holding my arms up like this. Like he was talking about like what about holding your arms up, and I'm like, yeah, I hold them out like this and like that, but like what I'm trying to say is there's different types of workouts, and these different types of things tend to be more longevity. If I wanted to build muscle or get bigger, like, because I've gotten bigger over the past 2 years, but if someone was bodybuilding for the same amount of time that I've been training for the past 2 years, they could definitely get their body much bigger, and like my I don't know what the fuck is this called, a bicep. My bicep still isn't that big really, because I've noticed like even just I guess doing pull-ups, it kind of helps build the bicep a little bit, but the functional muscles uh help you look more ripped. Like if you have, but they're not as big. Cause like working out with lighter weights or with just body weight or trying to do calisthenic holds, like all these different things, or pull up holds where I'll do a pull up but I'll hold it like right there, and it'll be hard, and it'll get harder and harder to hold it, and I'll hold it as long as I possibly can. And like a lot of these different things, I have this other like thing, right? But it's one that's designed for punching, and I added another one of these things. It's a broken one, but I added another one to it to make it harder, because after training with it for a year, I noticed it was getting easier to punch with. And so I added another one to make it harder to punch with. The same thing people would do if they were training with weights, where it's like once you get used to a certain amount of weight, you then add more weight. And for me personally, the bands and the just push ups, the calisthenics, which calisthenics is just like body weight workouts. So, like, push ups, pull ups, L sits, horse stance, and all the different calisthenic holds, like, and like all the extreme shit as well. Like, there's where you can hold like the human flag, like things like that are crazy to me. Like, I can't even do a handstand push up yet, let alone a hold. And I've been practicing my holds for the handstand push up as well, but I just noticed that these things are so much harder, and it's not necessarily about reps and sets and all of that, because I just started doing reps and sets for my shoulder workouts. I have this like bag that I put like water bottles and like rocks in, and I have my 10-pound dumbbell. I throw that in the bag as well, and I'll use that for heavy lifting, because I like to balance it where I don't just do calisthenics in the bands. I also have this bag where it helps me do heavy lifting. I'll have the bag and I'll lift like this, so it could work out the upper body, and the shoulders, and like I like doing, I guess, compound workouts more, and I do some isolation, but I like a workout that like I have to use many muscles at once. So like that's why I like the bag, because the way I gotta hold the bag, I gotta put my hands together like this and kind of squeeze, which means I gotta use my forearms and a bunch of other muscles as well to then slowly work together to be able to lift the bag. The same thing when I do curls with the bag. I have to hold the thing like this. So it's like holding something like this and just lifting it, and it's a heavy, it's kind of heavy. I want to get a scale, like a weight scale where I could weigh myself, so then I'd be able to weigh the bag to see how much the bag weighs. Um because I have no idea what amount of weight I've been lifting. All I know is originally it didn't have, like, it was lighter than it was now, because I did the same thing, where once I got used to it, once now, like, this is where I kind of judge the weight. I can only do 5, I think they're called reps. I get confused with reps and sets because I don't work out that way. But I think they're called reps, where I'm only able to do 5 at a time, and then I got to put it down. Then I do 5 with the other arm, and then I got to put it down. And if I get to a point where I could do 6 or 7, then I just add a little more, a few more rocks or a few more whatever, um, to then make it so I can only do 5 again. And that's really the only heavy thing I do. And I use that for shoulder workouts as well, where I'll like just have a table, and I'll bend over my arms so I can lift it like this, so I can lift the bag like this. But once again, I have to hold it like this, so it's also working out my grip strength as well. And like that's why I do door pull-ups instead of normal pull-ups, because the way I hold the door, like, it helps with my grip strength. And for me, this is all about just functional shit. Like, I want to be functionally strong. I want my joints to be strong. I strengthen my fingers because like lately I've been just doing practicing like fingertip push-ups. Now that's really dangerous if you haven't strengthened your fingers already. But because I've been working on my grip strength for so long, my finger strength has gotten stronger. So then I learned about fingertip push-ups. So I'll have all my five fingers. There's some people that do like fucking four fingers or three finger like, but I do all my fingers, and I'll hold on the ground like this, and I'll do a push up, and I can only do a couple like that, but it's that I'm slowly training my body, and you have to listen to your body, because there's times where I'll train for like I don't like there's times where I'll train for like I don't know 14 16 hours where I'll basically train all day. If I have like, and this is only like once every like month or two. Some like I haven't done this in like 2.5 months, but before that it was once every month or two where I would do a full day whenever I have a just full day to work out or to just have time to do this. I'll find a day, I'll choose that day, make sure there's nothing to do all that day, and then I work out all that day. And a lot of times when I do that, I'll wake up like limping in a sense. And not not in the same sense that people think, because my joints feel amazing. I don't have any joint pain. When I was 27, I had back pain. Now that I'm 30, I healed my back pain because I don't just work out, I stretch. Like, I'm very agile, I guess, right? Where like I could bend over all the way, or, from my back over, touch the ground, and then put myself back up. Like, I have a strong back and I can touch my toes without bending my knee, or I could touch the ground completely flat handed without bending my knee. And I guess it's just I try to balance everything because my goal is to be the best version of myself. So, like, I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. So, I'll take green tea baths where I'll get like 6 bags of green tea, turn the water as hot as it can go to the point where I would not be able to sit in the bath in with that hot water, and then I'll let the 6 green tea bags sit in the bath water and until it's cool enough for me to get in the bath cuz my water gets hot as fuck. And then I'll sit in the bath for a good like 40 minutes or so. And it helps my body heal better. Um, I don't know. Sometimes I'll add lotus flower into it. Sometimes I'll add like different things like Epsom salt or whatever. But honey. Sometimes I add honey. Sometimes I add like there's a few things I do, but I have this balanced structure of spirituality, using psychedelics spiritually, working on my mental health, working on my mind, working on my consciousness, working on my physical health, and working on things like meditation and herbal baths. Now, I know this sounds funny, like, because a lot of men are like, I don't take baths, I shower. And it's like, I get it. But it's good to take care of yourself on a whole spectrum. I started taking care of myself. I have a hair routine. I have a facial routine in a sense. I have many different things that I do to help me take care of myself because I think it's about a whole practice instead of just trying to gain muscles or just trying to get enlightened or trying to like there's so much to life, but the way I look at this is I'm training for life, right? Cuz people ask me what I'm training for, and it's like I'm training for life. So I'm training to become the best version of myself, and I want to be myself even at 70 because I seen this dude that trains calisthenics, right? I seen a dude that's 50 years old. I seen a dude in his 60s, and bro, I seen a dude in his 70s. The dude in his 70s, I seen him first before I really started trying calisthenics seriously. Like I seen a video of him on Facebook, and it was this old dude, 70s, doing calisthenics at a park, in better shape than me. And I'm like, he's 70. 70. Like, then I just seen a 50-year-old dude today. Like, I was watching this video. This 50-year-old dude in New York City working out at this park, right? Because calisthenics is like mainly just like pull-ups, push-ups, dips, all these other things you could do, all the in-betweens, all the whatever, but if you just do the basics like that, it'll keep you in shape. And I wear wristbands to, make sure I don't hurt my wrists, because after training to do a handstand push-up for the first week, I realized I now understand why Goku wears wristbands. Like, because it helps the wrists not get hurt. Like, and it's all about being safe. I understand why people wear belts now. If you're There's these like stomach belts that you can get if you're working out. I understand why people wear them now, so they don't get a hernia. So, because if you're lifting a heavy weight, you can give yourself a hernia. Like, it's all about being safe. And it's like, I heard people talk about how bands prevent injury, but I didn't even really think about it until after I started working out with bands. Because the only injury I've ever gotten was when I first started doing my extreme workouts. Because I have my extreme workouts, my in between, my middle, and my light workouts. So there's light workouts that I do almost every day. The medium workouts I do maybe uh, once, well, I guess I'd say like 3 times a week, maybe. And I guess maybe there's 4 types of workouts I do, because then there's another workout that I do maybe once a week that's a little more intense, um, where I try to push myself a little more. Maybe instead of just doing like 200 push-ups, I'll try to do 300. Um, but there's the other workout where I'll work out for like fucking 14 to 16 hours, where I'm just trying to do as much as I can do all day long. And now I got this from when I was a kid. There was this like boot camp program for bad kids, right? And I got put in this program. And every morning, like, it was like we got to go home, but we had to go to this place before school and we had to go to this place after school. Then we would go home. Then we would go to, then we basically take a shower and go to sleep. Then we wake up and do the same thing over again. Now, the first time you go into this program, they have these things called intake days, where basically you work out all day. And that's where I got this idea that it's fine to work out all day like this, as long as it's not all the time, and as long as you're not hurting yourself, as long as you're not whatever. But the way they work out, it was unlikely that you were going to hurt yourself, because they did similar things. They would get like, uh, I don't know, like a gallon, 2 gallons of water or whatever, empty the water, and they'd add these really light rocks into them. Like, it was really light, okay, but I mean like extremely lightweight. But they would make us hold it out like this, and make it hold us out. Like, they would make us hold them out until basically our arms are shaking. And because it's this boot camp thing, as soon as you try to put it down, they come in your face and start screaming at you, and then you're like, oh no, I'll lift it back up. And like, they would just do push-ups and running a mile or two, or uh, different like wall sits and all these different things. They had this log that you would have to hold if you got in trouble. And like, I'm like, bro, I do that type of shit now. I'll take my bag and I'll hold it out. I'll take my 10-pound weight and I'll hold it out. I'll whatever. it's funny how this program that was meant for bad kids actually did help me eventually. I eventually did apply some of that shit to my life. And I'm like, yeah. uh, So it's like I apply all these different things from different things because I also do a little bit of yoga, not like actual yoga, but my version where I'll just take a little bit of knowledge from yoga, a little bit of the stretching, a little bit of this and that, and I apply it. So I try to stay flexible. I try to whatever, and I'm trying to get my legs more flexible because I'm learning how to do kicks better. So I want to learn how to kick higher, and to kick higher, you have to be more flexible. So it's really about like I have little goals that help me get to the big goal to become my best version, but really it's just I enjoy this journey of like I'm enjoying the journey of me trying to do a handstand push-up. Like the process that I have to do, how I had to change my training so I'm able to do a handstand push-up. And I'm going to enjoy the process of I'm changing my leg training to then be able to kick better because I need better balance, I need better agility, I need better stamina, just for fighting in general, right? And it's not like I'm training to fight for like some competition or something. It's just I want to be the best version of me. So that means I want to fight the best that I could fight, kick the best that I could kick, do as many push-ups as I can do as many pull-ups as I can do the handstand push-ups because I know that I'm capable of doing it if I just practice enough. Like I want to be able to do some of the calisthenic holds, and I want to be able to do an L sit hold for a longer period of time. I want to be able to do uh, a horse stance for a longer period of time, a wall sit for a longer period of time. Like it's like I have all these little goals where it's like I started taking care of my thing, like my muscles and my face and my hair. Like I lost my hair, like I fucked up my hair by wearing the headband all the time, and it's like they said something about like a fungus or whatever. So I eventually, after like 6 months, maybe even a year of working on trying to heal my hair, I've healed my hair. So it's like I'm not just working out and getting in shape, I'm taking care of myself. I want to make sure that when I am 50, when I am 60, or when I'm 70, I'm that 70-year-old guy that's doing calisthenics at the park. That's my goal. But I don't just do calisthenics. I meditate. I do many different types of meditations. Yesterday I was doing the Om meditation, like the Om meditation, and that shit helps so much with like I don't know, you just feel releases because you're vibrating, and I'll do it until like if I stopped oming, I could still feel everything vibrating. Like I could feel my head in the and you could just feel it vibrating after you do it for so long because the water molecules inside of you try to match the frequency that's going on. But like it helps with recovery. I mean, while I'm in an herbal bath, it helps with recovery. It helps with, just all these different things. And those, it's not just recovering the body, it's recovering the mind. Meditation helps strengthen the mind. Psychedelic experiences help strengthen the mind. While all these different things like calisthenics and bands and I like I said, I do some weight work with my bag, and it's like these things help strengthen the body, but it's all about strengthening yourself all around. Like the psychedelics and the meditation also help strengthen my soul. And it's like being able to be consistent with something helps you in other aspects as well. And it's like a whole practice of just trying to become whole. Like I worked on my spirituality first, and I worked on this other thing, then I have my finances to work on. And it's like, why am I doing this? Because I'm trying to become whole. Like I want to see what I'm made of. I want to see what I'm capable of. I want to see what God had in mind for me. Like, God has an idea of the best version of myself. I don't really know that, like, version, but I know if I keep growing, I can get closer to that version. And it's not really about being that version, it's not really about being the best version of myself. It's just about the journey and the process of becoming the best version of myself. But yeah.